4 focuses if I am elected in my second consecutive U.S.A. presidential bid 2024 after 2020. Today is Monday, 1 July 2024. I am Tanis Leonhardi, a she, her, hers of Seattle. And back in 2020, I ran for President of the United States of America. And I got multiple votes. And so I'm going to recap 2020 and 2024, and then provide for the presidential primary, and then provide info for the general/presidential election. And then I'm going to go through my 4 focuses for if I'm elected president. Some of the stuff hasn't changed. Like I put out what I was voting for back then and went through all my ballot items and said why I was voting, and those videos are still on this channel. I'll link to my election voting playlist where those videos are. And it covers other elections other than presidential elections, and so, some of my voting when I make videos kind of thing. And then, so this is just thinking of, so back then I did people I would choose for my presidential cabinet if elected. And that video is still there and still true, but with there might be more people I might add, kind of thing, and ask if they wanted be a part of the presidential cabinet. But this is filling in some of the topics, like focuses of the presidency. So anything else? If elected, are we moving us into the White House? My boyfriend Josh Kerr very much would like to live with me in the White House. And my parents go, huh? I don't know about us moving, but we'd at least like to visit. And Conadaga too. And maybe my grandma Connie, my aunt Janet. Okay, anyway. So 2020 general presidential election recap. Political party for that was Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party may have been held before the writing of the United States of America Constitution. And I thought that was fitting for my family. The furthest back that in terms of who came up to America was early 1600s. Perhaps not on a ship named the Mayflower, but a ship not too far away from the Mayflower. And the time for settling was still early 1600s. And so I'd say the stance of the Boston Tea Party, or the frustration with Great Britain, as a stance, a fidelity my family has carried on for centuries, including over a century, so to speak, before the Revolutionary War. We left and came over that really for reasons. And so Boston Tea Party is fitting in that sense. Blood red color, mascot, squirrel. Listen, I don't know if that's consistent with, like, there is a Boston Tea Party, but there's like the meanings of the things to me. My running mate Vice President Hillary Rodham Clinton, so her. Yes. And then I received I was voted for both with that I'm aware of, both with the Boston Tea Party and without a party. I received so more than one vote format, so to speak. In 2024, so this year, 2024 presidential primaries election recap. So for that one, I opened the mail and I have a video on it in my election voting playlist. I thought I was opening it and I thought it was like a special election, not actually the presidential primaries. So you get that reaction on the video. And yeah, in this state, Washington State, have to put Democrat or Republican, so I went with Democrat. And then vice presidential running mate, they did not have space for that. It was just voting for the president. So there you go. 2024 general/presidential election info, political party. And again, since the Democrats and Republicans already have their peoples, and go with Boston Tea Party, Hillary Rodham Clinton for my running mate. If she gets shot, we need to have good medics so she gets fixed. My aim with getting elected is that both the president and the vice president make it all the way through, even if something bad happens to us. Okay, now the focuses of the presidency. So I've fleshed this out actually a little bit since my 2020 run. Focus 1, asexual rights. So focus on the desexualization of everyone, especially minors and animals. Yes, that's a huge problem in the United States of America. So do we need to come up with some sort of principles that press and Hollywood and school uniforms and stuff like that that need to protect peoples. That's might not be something pushed by people who are not asexuals, but as an asexual, I'm like, well, I might just have enough motivation to get people protected. Some or protective measures in place and adhered to, at least attempt, right? These are focuses. Include a focus on rights of singles and those who do not have kids. Yes, I think that falls, while they might not be asexuals, that is, I would say, something that I would put in with the asexual rights. It's like a package kind of push and focus. Okay, focus 2, the environment. If I get elected president, so I'm currently over 31.00 years of age and under 32.00 years of age, and I was getting votes for president in my late 20s. And if I'm getting elected president, I'm getting elected because the planet, the earth, the universe, the environment needs it. I would say if there's a reason, it's the environment. And so we can think of it as it's Father Nature telling me it's time to clean up the planet. It's Mother Nature telling me it's time to clean up the planet. It's transparent telling me it's time to clean up the planet. And it's intersex parent telling me it's time to clean up the planet. And otherwise parent, for anything I didn't already cover, parent telling me it's time to clean up the planet. And so really focusing on, like, let's say, so here in Washington State, we have the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Washington State Department of Natural Resources. Find those and try and get them, like, push their environment conservation and restoration projects and see if we can get the equivalent in each and every United States of America state pushed to the forefront along with the Forest Service and national agencies. See if we can figure out a way to help boost the economy through work on the environment, conservation and restoration. For United States of America territories, take and see if they already have those kind of organizations or entities. If they don't, do they want them? If they don't want them, do they want their independence? Like, does Puerto Rico want to become a country? If it does it have what it needs to be successful in terms of the environment and their own survival kind of thing? Yes, and then I think the most woking thing for me in that particular category is when I was a graduate student at the University of California, Berkeley, in the Department of Earth and Planetary Science, Geophysics. The prefix geo means earth. And there was a talk I went to, and I think growed up / been familiar with, like, the world is scheduled to end, all bad things, in 2100. Like, if we lose our rain and stuff like that, crops will die, like, with a changing climate, yada, yada, yada. And so we had a bunch of climate talks that came through and other talks as well. There was one talk and the person came in, and I'd seen it in papers, but it's different when it's in person and it's in front of you and it's being contextualized, was the year for things going, like, really, really bad on this planet, Earth. It was not 2100 anymore, it was 2040. And, you know, it was less than a decade ago that I was in there. I was in my 20s, and I sat there, and the only thing I could think of was, I don't want my parents to die. They did not sign up for this. So I made a trade with the devil. I trade any future human children of mine for the life and longevity and eternal youth of my parents, me, and my soulmate and or soulmates, and any non-human children. We want to save the planet and the humans and non-humans. Earth inhabitants, both humans and non-humans alike. And that includes animals and trees and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was a scary day. And I'm still spooked. And the environment very much needs saving. Even if the climate weren't changing, we still need the environment. Okay. Focus 3, misinformation. I'm going to try and make this one concise. For misinformation, there's a lot of it. Parse it out, categorize it if we can, figure out what the sources are, and eradicate the source. There's just cut it off at the source. It's not good. I'm gonna guess it's not one source. So figuring out a system and structure to put in place against the sources of misinformation. Okay, cut it so we can cut it off and have healthy news kind of thing. Focus 4, refocusing aid. So I've touched on this channel previously for this particular election, and this one could, this is for if I am elected in 2024. If the first 3 would still be focuses even after, but this one specifically, if it were refocused before I were elected president, then this one might change. It might be like maintaining aid, right? But switch from a European centric to incorporating the Americas. So I thought a good example would be, let me see if I can get any living president and or vice president who wants to help out and put them on rainforest duty. And so thinking about like taking money and being like, so South America currently has the largest tropical rainforest in the world. Is that true? How do we help maintain that? Like, how do we keep that the case? How do we prevent the rainforest from going away? How can we help? So taking funds that might be used to support wars or one side of a war in Europe, and instead being like, let's try and save the animals and the environment and the oxygen, the trees that provide us oxygen, that kind of thing. Conclusion, well, and kind of thing, actually. In conclusion, currently I identify, this is other information that might, one I've already touched on, but currently I identify with being a non-religious atheist, though I was raised a Presbyterian, which is a type of Christianity, and have previously identified with Islam. So I say this because I can put my hand on the Bible and still mean God. All right. Okay. 2020 presidential cabinet picks remain unchanged. Might add some more though, and if you've been a president and or vice president of the United States of America and are alive, I hate neither Democrats nor Republicans. Rainforest duty or something like that. So there we go. I'm Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. Vote for me for President of the United States of America in 2024 if you want to. Vice President Hillary Rodham Clinton.